Good morning, 9 o'clock. Good morning, y'all. How's everybody? Everybody have a great Christmas? Santa get you everything you wanted? No, no. Dang. Oh, dang. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. All right. So this is the last Sunday of 2019. Ain't that exciting? Who's ready for 2020? I know I'm ready. Who's ready? I know I'm ready. Sheesh. Woo. And I'm excited because this sermon, I believe, since we're doing this goal series next week, I believe this is going to be a good prep and a good startup and encouragement to go into this goal series that we're doing next week. So before I start, I'm sorry you guys are not going to like me. I apologize, not really. But real quick, 3 random people you don't know, give them a high five, hug, handshake, real quick. Come on, get the juice flowing, real quick. Come on. Say how you doing. Good morning. We are a family. Let's go. All right, we are a family. Let's act like it. Oh my God, Ivan, why'd you make us actually get to know people? Oh, it's so evil. Oh, Ivan, why'd you do that? I know, I'm sorry, y'all. We're a family, okay? So, to open up, I want to talk about 2 scenarios real quick as I'm opening up. So, the first scenario, back in 1991, the 2-time defending champions, the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, were in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that's the game series to go to the championship. And for professional athletes, the main reason why they play, the reason why these rich, super filthy rich owners play these players is to win championships. So they were 1 7-game series away from meeting their goal and going back to the championship. So the team they played against was Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls. And this is the team they're used to beating up on in the past. So I'm pretty sure they felt very, very confident going into it. But it ended up, they got swept by the Bulls 4-0. They got swept. And the first 3 games, they were hard and fought, but they lost. But even being down 0-3, it's still a likely chance they still could have came back and won. I mean, percentage-wise, obviously, it's not the greatest chance to come back, but they still could. And them being, 2-time defending champions, they had the pedigree to come back and still be able to win the series. But Game 4 was different. Game 4, they really felt like they met their match. They pretty much gave up. With even in the final minutes, they checked out of the game, hugged, high-fived each other, and walked off the court with still time remaining on the clock. Totally gave up. Walked past the Bulls bench, didn't acknowledge them, all that. And they just gave up right before, they reached their goal of going to the championship. Another scenario I want to name real quick, Andrew Luck earlier this year. He was a young quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the league in the NFL of the Indianapolis Colts. And in the beginning of this year, a lot of analysts and stuff were saying, the Colts actually have the team to make a Super Bowl push. They finally built a line around Andrew Luck. They got offensive pieces. They got the defense and everything. So this is the year that Andrew Luck could finally make a push to go to the Super Bowl. But, within the 7 to 8 years of his young career, he went through a lot of injuries. He battled and went through a lot of rehab and stuff like that to the point where he just fell out of love with the game of football. And I'm not up here trying to bash Andrew Luck for his decision, because ultimately I would have made the same decision. Because at the end of the day, there's more to life than football and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure there's Indianapolis Colts fans that figured he probably gave up. Even maybe some of his teammates maybe felt like he gave up. And the point I'm trying to make is a lot of us, we set goals earlier this year in 2019, I'm sure. And a lot of us, we gave up and got discouraged right when we were this close to meeting our goal. And I want to put up a meme to, explain further what I'm talking about. So a lot of us is like this bottom guy right here, this bottom gold digger. We're right in the midst of trying to accomplish our goal and reach for our goal. Maybe it got too hard. Maybe the trials were too difficult. Maybe we just got discouraged. And we were this close to meeting whatever goal that we were trying to set. And a lot of us are like that. A lot of us, we were discouraged this year. Like, we were excited at the beginning of the year, when we set these goals and try to accomplish and strive for these things. But over the course of time, life happens. One incident happened after another. We get discouraged. Maybe somebody's in your ear talking about you can't accomplish this and do this. And we give up. And we turn back around. So my whole encouragement, the whole purpose of this sermon is to hang in there. Can y'all say hang in there? Say hang in there. Because we need to hang in there in our situations, because a lot of us were this close to accomplishing or this close from God pushing us to the next point of getting closer to our goal. And we need that encouragement and that push to hang in there just a little bit longer in our situations. And real quick, turn your Bibles or your apps or whatever y'all read the Bible with nowadays. I use both. But in James 1:2-4, so James said, "Consider it great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature, complete, and lack nothing." So James is saying God uses the trials and the things that we struggle and deal with while we're like setting our goals to help strengthen us, to help us to be able to endure, to help us make us more spiritually mature. And if you think about it, like let's just say, for instance, God gave you everything that you wanted right away. Let's just say, for instance, that actually happens. This is the real world we're talking about. So even if he gave us what we wanted, when we wanted it right away, we're still going to go through stuff. We're still going to have trials. We're still going to have bumps along the road, even if we got things right away. And not to mention, if you're striving for a goal or trying to accomplish something and you invite God into it, or your goal is to do something for God, guess what? The enemy on it now. So he's going to do things to try to disrupt you, discourage you, to try to have you give up during that goal. So even if God gave you whatever goal or whatever you're trying to accomplish right away, we're still going to go through things along the way. And really, if you think about it, if God really did that and gave us what we wanted right away, really he's setting us up for our downfall. That's babying us. Really. So even purposely at times, he'll allow us to go through these things, through these bumps and these trials and these bumps along the road, because he's doing it to strengthen us, to equip us. Because throughout life, no matter what you accomplish, no matter what level that you're at, you're going to go through some type of trial along the way. But he's equipping us so that way when one thing does happen after another, we can endure it. We can continue to push through it. I kind of look at it as, for your parents in here who has kids or have a little child right now, like when a kid's learning how to walk, he's a little shaky, he's stumbling, he got his little, thing going, 1, 2, like this. But what you're doing is you're allowing them to walk. You're not going to be on top of them like this when they're learning how to walk. No. How are you helping them in that way? What you're going to do is you're going to let them stumble a little bit. You're going to let them fall. You're going to let them fall on their face. All that different stuff, roll around, all that good stuff. You're going to allow them to do that, but the thing is you're still going to keep an eye on them. So that way they're not going to get really in harm's way. Be quiet, alarm. Okay. And that's how God is with us. God's going to allow us to stumble. He's going to allow us to go through our trials and stuff like that, but he still has a close eye on us. He doesn't leave us in these situations. He's right there. So he's equipping us. He's making us stronger so that way we can endure the things and the trials that life has for us, so that way we can become complete and lack nothing. And also, importantly, what we need to learn is faith. Learn what faith really is. And I know y'all probably, I know what faith is. Duh, I know what faith is. I mean, yeah, you do. But sometimes we need a refresher on these type of principles, on basic principles of what faith is. And in Hebrews 11:1, the writer says, "Now faith is the reality of what is hoped for, the proof of what is not seen." So pretty much, faith is the confidence of an expectation that we have without visible proof of it yet. So if I have a goal or something like, I have faith, I'm going to strive for, I'm going to lose weight this year. That's my confidence. That's the expectation I have to lose weight this year, even though I still see extra, a little bit here, a little bit, even though I still see this excess stuff on me, my confidence and expectation is I'm going to lose this weight, even when we don't have visible proof of it yet. And to me, in faith, a big component in faith is trustworthiness. And a question you should ask yourself is God trustworthy? Is God trustworthy? And it sounds easy to say like yes, but when you're struggling, when you're trying to accomplish something, it's not easy to answer that. Some people might not think God is trustworthy. But since we learned that God uses our trials and the things that we go through to help build us up and strengthen us and endure us, we know that God is trustworthy. So pretty much faith is the confidence that God is telling the truth. That's what faith is. The confidence that God is telling the truth, that God is in control. That's what faith is. And another big component of faith that we have to realize too, and this is also in Hebrews 11:6, is, "Now without faith it is impossible to please God, since the one who draws near to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards to those who seek him." So if you want to please God, which I'm pretty sure we all do. I want to please God. Who don't want to please God? But throughout our circumstances, no matter how tough it gets, no matter how alone you might feel, no matter how many bumps in the road it is, we still have to continue to believe in God and seek him. You know, and Dr. Tony Evans, he said this one cool quote that I really like. And he says, the opposite of faith is not our doubts, it's our disobedience. Let me say it again. The opposite of our faith is not doubt, it's our disobedience. So when we focus on just doing the little things of being obedient, like maybe we have to pray a little more, dedicate more time to pray more. Maybe we have to dedicate a little bit more time to get into God's word. Maybe we have to join a group. You know, we are starting a group soon. Maybe we need to invite other believers in our situations to help us hang in there in our situations. So that way we have confidence that when we continue to seek God, and even though we're going through all these troubles within our goal preparation of what we're trying to set, he will be there for us. He will see us through, and we will get the reward that we're trying to strive for. So it's important. And now I want to talk about 3 quick points for us to be able to hang in there. Because Hebrews 11, which is our main context, is going to be throughout Hebrews 11. And Hebrews 11 is like the faith Hall of Fame. You know, the beginning part talks about what faith is and stuff. And then the rest of the part is talking about the people in the Old Testament that had great faith to get them through what they had to get through. And I believe that we all can learn from the people in the Old Testament that had great faith through God, and that way we're able to hang in there in our situations, in our goal preparation, so that we might not give up, so we are able to endure and actually see what God is trying to have us accomplish through him. So the first step in order to what kind of faith we need in order to hang in there is we need that Moses faith. Can y'all say that Moses faith? Yeah, we need that Moses faith. Say that Moses faith. Yes. So the main component for that Moses faith is perseverance. Moses had to persevere through everything through his life. I mean, a lot of us, we know what Moses had to go through, right? We've been there. Even in my last sermon, if y'all heard it, I mean, I talked about Moses' story. But in Hebrews 11, 23 to 29, the writer gave a short little run through of what Moses by faith had to go through. So he said, by faith, Moses, after he was born, was hidden by his parents for 3 months because they saw that the child was beautiful and that they didn't fear the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter and chose to suffer with the people of God rather than enjoy the fleeting pleasure of sin. For he considered reproach for the sake of Christ to be greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt. Since he was looking ahead to the reward, by faith he left Egypt behind, not being afraid of the king's anger, for Moses persevered as one who sees him who is invisible. By faith he instituted the Passover and the sprinkling of the blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn might not touch the Israelites. By faith they crossed the Red Sea as though they were on dry land. When the Egyptians attempted this, they were drowned. So as you see, Moses had to persevere a lot through his life. You know, even the beginning part of his life when he was first born, you know, his parents had to persevere even though the Pharaoh at the time was trying to kill him and every newborn Israelite, to the point where he had to drift down the Nile River, not to be part of the Egyptian customs. He had to persevere that, you know, when he did kill that Egyptian that was abusing his Israelite brother, and he had to persevere through him fleeing and running to Midian because Pharaoh was trying to kill him. Then he had to persevere because the task that God wanted him to do was unlikely, like saving your whole entire people from enslavement. That's a tall order. You know, he had to persevere through even his own personal doubts and feelings and his stuttering in the process. He had to persevere with the whole going back and forth, you know, Moses, you know, let my people go, no, and all the plagues and stuff like that. Up until the point we had to persevere and take his people crossing the Red Sea. And then walking on it like it's dry land. Like, that's crazy. And when you think about what perseverance is, perseverance means the ability to keep going despite of difficulty and delay. The ability to keep going despite of difficulty and delay. And when I think about my own life, I think about the stuff I had to persevere in my life too, and I shared it before. But, you know, like I said, I was born 2 months early. I was born premature. And because of that, you know, I went through a lot of birth defects. You know, I had problems walking. I had problems talking. I have a cyst on my brain that I still have to this day. And I had to persevere, you know, going in and out of doctor's appointments. I had to persevere through surgeries. I had to persevere through doing MRIs, getting my brain scanned. I had to persevere through going through speech therapists. I had to persevere through all the kids around my neighborhood calling me stupid, calling me dumb, I'm slow. Persevere through my own doubts in myself, my own worthiness, my own depressions and stuff that I go through. I had to persevere through all that. But the thing is, it's the faith that kept us going. It's the faith that kept me and Moses moving. It's the faith that, even though one thing keeps happening after another, we still have faith that God was still in control of the situation that we were going through. And ultimately, our faith fuels our perseverance. Our faith fuels our perseverance. So, even though you are going through one thing after another when you're trying to accomplish something and you're trying to hang in there, but having that little bit of faith that God is in control and just keep moving. And the thing is, Moses didn't actually know what it was going to look like by him just persevering, what it was actually going to look like. I didn't know what me persevering through my situation was ultimately going to look like, but I trusted that God was in control. I trusted that he was in control of that situation. I had my parents to help me, feel like to speak life into me, for me to be able to continue to persevere. Moses had Aaron. And the more he persevered, the more he got through it, guess what? He accomplished his goal of freeing his people. The more I persevered through my situations, despite of what was going on, the more I had faith in what God was doing in my life. Now look, I never thought I'd be up here. I never thought I'd have my own youth ministry, stuff like that. But just keep moving. That's how we're able to hang in our situations. Even though one thing might be happening after another and it might be discouraging, but keep having faith that God is in control. Keep having perseverance and watch what God does in your situation. Now, the next point I want to bring up on what kind of faith we need in order to hang in there. We need that Sarah faith. Can you say that Sarah faith? Say that Sarah faith. Yeah. So also Sarah had great faith. In Hebrews 11:11, the writer says, by faith even Sarah herself, when she was unable to have children, received power to conceive offspring, even though she was past the age, since she considered that the one who had promised was faithful. So Sarah wanted to have a child, but she could never conceive, and God told her she was going to have her own child. But the problem was not only that she couldn't conceive, but she was very, very old. And even though, God told her that was going to happen, she laughed. I feel like we all have a moment when we laugh at, when we're trying to strive for something, we're trying to accomplish a certain goal, and we know God is going to support you through it. Even though it seems very, very unlikely that it's going to happen, we laugh. Even though she tried to deny it and God called her out on it, we all have that moment. And I think within her laughter, it was disbelief, but it was also like, oh my God, this is really going to happen. Wow, this is really going to happen. She even had to laugh about, dang, God is really going to see me through this, even though it doesn't seem like it's possible. But Sarah had great faith. She was hopeful. The main component of her faith is she had hope. She was hopeful that even though, obviously, most likely she's not going to have a kid, and obviously her age and her not being able to conceive had an impact on that, she still was hopeful in God's promise. She was still hopeful. And even though she did struggle along the way, because it was a 25-year process she had to wait. Long time. But yet she was still hopeful that God was going to come through, even though it didn't look like it was going to happen. And another story about myself and my family. Back in 2014, my dad actually had a pulmonary embolism, which is like this big, long, blood clot build-up rope thing. So I'll never forget this day. I'm going to try to condense it as much as possible. So my dad couldn't breathe one day, called the ambulance. He goes to the hospital. And, my family there, me, my mom, sister, aunt. And this is something my dad's had blood clots before in the past. So this is something it's not unfamiliar territory. We know how it is. And, more family members came. He was in a hospital bed, put some medicine in him. We left the hospital thinking, okay, we'll see him in the morning after church. Everything will be all right. So as we're driving home, the hospital calls us and say, actually, Mrs. Morris, it got worse. And we actually have to fly him to shock trauma. It's an emergency. So he had to go in a helicopter and get shipped to shock trauma. So we're like, okay. So we at the hospital all night. They had to do this 7 hour surgery. They had to crack his chest open, suck the blood clot. It was 24 inches. It was this long in his chest. We was there all night, but we didn't know how severe it was. So I'm like, dang. So we there all night, trying to fall asleep in hospital chairs. You know how annoying that is. But so the doctor comes back out after he's finished. He's like, okay, ma'am. So he had a pulmonary embolism. Blood clot was this long. He lost so much blood that his heart couldn't pump and beat on his own. So they had to hook him up to a machine because if not, he'd be dead. And so we was like, so could we come to see him? So we go in there and see him, and it was just, oh my God, it looked terrible. He was hooked up to every corded machine you can think of. It just looked terrible. It looked devastating. So we go home, and then, like I said, we was at the hospital all night. So we go home. The sun comes up. The sun is up. So I go home and go to sleep for about an hour. But something's telling me I haven't come to church. So I was like, all right, I came to church. And there's only a few people that knew about it at the time, so they prayed over me, asked me how the family was, stuff like that. But I was still hopeful, even though it looked bad. Like, it looked really bad. Like, my dad was hooked up to this machine in order to stay alive. I still came in here and I still served. I didn't tell nobody what was going on. I was still hopeful in my situation. And actually, it was right over here where it happened. So I was praying right here. And, I was praying for people like I usually do at the altar. And usually, after I was done praying, I would come and pray by myself at the altar, praying for my week and bringing it to God. And I chose this time to really pour out what was going on with me, my feelings, what was going on with my dad, stuff like that. And I'll never forget this moment where it felt like 20 different hands was touching me right here. The presence of God was all over me. And nobody came and touched me. It was God. It was the most peace, it's peace I can't even explain in that situation. And God told me that my dad was going to be okay. So I got up like, oh, okay, all right. My dad going to be good, bet. All right. But I didn't go home and, tell my mom about it. Like, yeah, God, I prayed, and God told me no. Like, I felt like God was testing me. So I kept it to myself. And throughout the week, my dad got worse. Got sicker. Called my mom every 5 seconds to do another emergency, procedure. And then during one of the procedures, he actually died on the table. He actually died. They had to shock him twice to get a heartbeat, to get a pulse. So I'm learning all this. I'm like, oh, God, I don't know if you remember, but remember last Sunday, I was praying right here, and you told me my dad was going to be all right? Remember, did you forget? No, I know. I mean, I might be tripping. I don't know. But I had to remember. That same hope I had before he told me, I still need that same hope throughout the whole situation. That same hope I had before he even told me when I walked through this door and still did what I did despite of what my dad was going through, that's the same hope I needed in my situation. So that same hope that Sarah had, even though she was old, that same hope Sarah had, even though she couldn't conceive, even though she had to wait 25 years, that's the same hope we need to have in God to come through in our situations. Even though it might seem unlikely, the goal or whatever we're trying to set, still have that same hope I had for my dad. That's the same hope we need to hang in there in our situations, just long enough for us not to give up. And lastly, the last point I want to make on what kind of faith we need in order to hang in there is we need that Noah faith. That Noah faith. Can you say that Noah faith? That Noah faith. So the main component for the Noah faith, I think this is my personal favorite, is that you need that mind your business faith. Yes, you need that mind your business faith. That's the main component for that Noah faith. And this one is key because this one is for the outside chatter you're going to hear, the people in your ear. This is for the goals that you really trying to accomplish something big. Like maybe you've been a smoker, cigarette smoker for 30 years and you want to quit. People, not everyone's going to believe that you can quit because you've been doing it for so long. That's what they're used to seeing you doing. Maybe you have a goal, maybe you used to like drinking a lot. You want to stop drinking or stop being in the streets. But yet people are not going to believe you because you've been doing it for so long and that's all they know you as. You might even want to start a business, something crazy like you want to start your own cell phone brand or whatever the case may be. People are not going to believe that. It's unlikely. So we need that mind your business faith and not mind what other people are saying. So in Hebrews 11:7, where it's talking about Noah now, it says, by faith Noah, after he was warned about what was not yet seen and motivated by godly fear, built an ark to deliver his family. By faith he condemned the world and became a heir of righteousness that comes by faith. So, God, he asked Noah to do something kind of big, kind of unusual. He asked him to build an ark because a flood was coming, that he was going to bring a flood. And he had to build an ark for his family and for 2 of every animal. But let's talk about how big and unusual this was. So, the ark was 510 feet long. So, there's not no ordinary boat. So, it's about one football field and a half long. 50 feet tall. So it's about taller than a modern 4-story house. How big, how much capacity you can store in it? It said you can store 450 standard semi trucks in there. And not to mention this whole process took 120 years. And not to mention it hasn't rained prior to this point. Think about that. Hasn't rained at all. Nothing. And not to mention, this is way back in the day. This ain't now. Where you got all these machines and all this labor. No. He had him and his family. So can you imagine the scrutiny he was going through? Can you imagine what people were saying? I can see how they was clowning him. No, you got to be stupid. What is wrong with you building this big, you wasting all your time? Ain't nothing going to happen. Can you just imagine? Like, I want to show this one movie clip of the movie Evan Almighty. And this is when he's kind of like going through changes and God called him to do the same thing. And this is the reactions, you know, people are going to have, even your loved ones. So check out this quick movie clip real quick. Okay. Okay, so I really like that clip because it kind of brings it like in the modern version of how it would kind of look like if you was in that situation or if Noah was in that situation. And it's crazy. People are not going to understand the goals and the stuff you're trying to set for yourself or what God has for you. It's not going to make sense to everybody. And, you know, even though his family, you know, eventually helped him build the ark, I'm pretty sure they had that same reaction. You know, despite of what people said or what people might have said to Noah, Noah still did what God asked him to do. He still built the ark, even though how ridiculous it might seem. But then if you think about it, not everybody's going to understand what you're trying to accomplish because your alignment and path is different from theirs. Your alignment and path for your life is different than the next person. God has different plans in store for you than the next person. Like my plan and alignment in my life is different from yours, and yours is different from mine. So, of course, not everybody's going to understand. They're not going to understand. You know, in 1 Corinthians 1, I remember Paul said that, you know, the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than human strength. So God is on a different level. Way different. So it doesn't matter what this next person say or your coworker says or whatever they say about your situation. God is different. When God is seeing you through it, he can get you to it. You know, because ultimately, when we don't mind what other people say, that's when we can stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish. When we don't mind what the next person is saying about what we're trying to accomplish, that's how we can stay focused on what God is trying to, or what we're trying to accomplish. And guess what? Even the enemy can use your own loved ones to distract you. He can use your loved ones to discourage you so you can't accomplish whatever he's trying to do. And if God has this calling on your life, if God is going to see you through whatever you're trying to strive for, I don't care if your own mom's against you. Sorry, Mom. Because God has our best intentions all the time, 100%. So don't worry about what the next person say. I don't care how big or how ironic or how weird whatever you're trying to accomplish is. Not everybody's going to understand, but God understands. God gave you that desire in your heart for you to strive for whatever you're trying to strive for. All you need is one other person believing on your side and God, and that's all you need. If people are going to talk, let them. And I even suggest, don't even put a status about it. Don't throw it out there, nothing. Don't even tell people about it, because we're just inviting more people in to throw shade on what we're trying to accomplish. Keep it to yourself. Don't worry about what the next person is saying. In order for us to hang in our situations, who cares what the next person say? Keep moving forward. Have that mind your business faith like Noah did, where Noah had to probably ignore what the next person was saying, but he still trusted God. And he probably seemed like a fool until it started raining. Don't mind what other people are saying. And as I wrap this up, I just want to show another quick video with me and one of my youth students. What's up, ALC family? How's everybody doing? So right now I have one of my youth students, Maddie, with me. Say what's up, Maddie.
Hi.
So pretty much I just want to have Maddie explain like her process of the goals and stuff that she accomplished this year. So I'm just asking her like a few questions, and you're just gonna hear how, you know, her answers. So let's start. Okay, so Maddie. So for the beginning of the year, when we had you write out like your goals on like the poster board and stuff like that, how many goals did you actually accomplish this year?
So the goals that I accomplished were to get like 2 or more roles in the play and musical, and to make friends in my first year of high school. So.
Good. Okay. All right. Good. So, can you tell me the process? Like, what was like the struggles that you had with like attaining both of those goals?
So with theater, I had to memorize a monologue and a song, and so for the musical, I had to memorize the song, which was easier because songs are a little easier for me. But the monologues always tripped me up because I had trouble memorizing them and finding characters for them. So like I would stand out with uniqueness kind of thing. But I did end up getting for the play a good role, which is nice as a freshman. I was the only freshman that got casted with a role and not ensemble.
Oh yeah.
And for the musical, I got ensemble. A little disappointing, but like I still got in, so that's nice. And with the friends, I had like this long period of time where I was eating lunch alone, and it made me it tripped me up a lot because I like being social during my lunches, even though I'm an introvert. But I eventually like found friends by like actually talking to my classmates. So.
Good. Okay. So another question I have. So were there a point in the time of the path or the journey that you had to go through to obtain the goals? Like, did you have any doubts or wanted to give up during those times?
Yeah, so for theater, it's hard for a freshman to get a good role. So I was really doubtful that I was actually going to get casted for the play because plays kind of weren't my thing. Um, and for the musical, I was still nervous about getting casted because I like all the other people who were super good. They were just like, I was like, my song probably not that good compared to theirs. And with my friends at lunches, I was actually eating lunch alone in the library for about 2 weeks before I actually decided to go talk to my Spanish classmates, which is my lunch period. So it was this whole thing where I was like sitting alone in the library, almost in tears because I had nobody to sit with while eating my yogurt, whatever I was eating that day. So.
Oh, okay. Good, good. Thank you for the transparency. And then the last question I want to ask, so how did your faith in Christ, like how did God get you to like do the hard times in your situations, like through your doubts and stuff like that?
So if you know me in youth group, you know that my only thing that I really pray about is theater
Very
or
true.
some kind of like musical
Very true.
related thing.
Yeah.
So that was like my way with theater. But like sitting in my bed alone, just waiting to fall asleep was the time where I prayed about Christ. I was like, why me? Come on, God. But he eventually helped me out, which is nice. So.
Good, good, good. Well, thank you, Betty, for being transparent with us. I know it's kind of hard to really express some of the hard times through it, but I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate what you said. Even though I wanted you to be on stage with me to explain all this to them, but you had to be on like vacation. I mean, you got to be with your family and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
gosh.
I guess, but you know. But thank you once again. Thank you.
Of course.
All right, so as I wrap this up, I wanted to put up a video with me and one of my youth students because usually in the beginning of the year, what we like to do is we like for them to like set goals, for them to strive for something, and I think that's very important for our young people, our youth, our teens to be striving for something, to learn how to strive for something, how to deal with the hardships along the way, and what it feels like when when their hard work and their trust and faith in God, what the hard work looks like, and when they actually accomplish something. You know, and we can actually learn so much from our teens. You know, being with them every week, I've learned so much from them. And literally, everything she just explained is literally my whole point of this whole sermon. The whole process she went to, from the point of her picking something to strive for or picking a goal that she's trying to set. The struggles and stuff along the way of her trying to deal with it, but yet still keeping her faith in God, and her being like the only freshman to get a certain role at her school play. Even though it's unlikely because most of the freshmen in their school play don't get these type of roles. Or her going from sitting at lunch by herself to now she's sitting at lunch with people. Like, that's a huge thing. That's a really huge thing. And the thing is, it's important for our teens to know this, and I wish more people would have instilled in me when I was younger to do that, to strive for more goals when we're younger. Because really, outside of grade school, when they get into the real world, it's going to be hard. They're going to want to strive and do more things, and the world is going to be harder. It's going to be colder. And as you see, the world's not getting much better. But if they're able to learn right now and have a foundation of enduring and equipping themselves to handle these hard times and these trials, but still keep their faith in their situation to accomplish, it will take them a long way after grade school and stuff is over. So as we look at a 14, 15-year-old girl, and she sees the process and got through it and handling her situation, then we all can do it. Everybody has that capability. We all can do this. And run a quick thing in Matthew 17:20. Matthew wrote, "Because of your little faith," he told them, "for truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you would tell this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Mustard seed faith. He told the disciples, all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed, and you'll be able to tell this mountain to move here from there, and nothing will be impossible for you. Can you show us a picture of what the mustard seed looks like? How small and tiny this is? Look how small that is. Now, obviously, I'm not telling you if you go out to a big tree in front of your house and say, I want you to move, it's going to throw itself across the room. But what God is saying, because he knew the disciples' faith was small, was tiny. And he said, this is all the faith that you need for God to make the impossible possible in your life. This is all you need, this tiny little bit of faith. And sometimes we think we need a faith as big as the sun, when all we need is faith this small to get through. Moses had probably mustard seed faith, persevering through everything he persevered through, but it was enough to get him through. Sarah probably had mustard seed faith, even though she was too old, even though she had to wait 25 years, even though she couldn't conceive, but she had mustard seed faith and had a child. Noah, probably had mustard seed faith, having to build this big, huge boat that took 120 years and it never rained prior. But still, he had mustard seed faith, got him through, and that's all we need, y'all. Hang in there in your situations. All you need is that mustard seed faith for God to move. Mustard seed faith got me through the hardest times of my life. Through times where I felt like I wasn't worthy. That wasn't valuable. But mustard seed faith got me through. And it can get you through too. That's all we need. So I just want to encourage y'all to stay with it. Hang in there. There's a few days left in 2019. You can start right now. You don't have to wait till next year. Hang in there. Your breakthrough is coming. I believe in that because I'm a witness to that. So hang in there, please. Trust God. He always has your best interest at heart. And I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. But I'm trying to tell you, use that mustard seed faith and let it guide you. Because you'll be surprised what God can use through you. What God can do through you. So hang in there. I believe someone's going to be able to hang in there through their situation no matter how tough it is. Just hang in there, y'all. Trust God. Thank you. Just some quick next steps. If you haven't already, if you've been on the fence, start a relationship with Christ today. You never know what difference it can make in your life. Because the thing is, hanging in there in your situation means you don't have to hang by yourself. Christ is hanging with you. He will guide you through your situations. Try Christ. Maybe you've been trying to hang in there by yourself and we can't do it by ourselves. Invite Jesus. Let us know. Write it on a connections card. Invite Jesus into your life. Second one, I think the ushers handed out these magnets. These magnets is a calendar of all the stuff we're doing next year. When groups are launching, when all these different stuff is. Take advantage of this. Look at the events and stuff that we're doing. Like Antoine said, groups are starting in the next few weeks. Take advantage. Get partnered up, get linked up. We need a community behind us in order for us to hang in our situations, to hang in there to fully go through it. Put this on your refrigerator and stuff like that so we know. Because there's a lot of stuff that's going on through the year, from prayer fast, from, Holy Week, do all these different stuff that we're doing, different baptisms, all the stuff we're doing throughout the year. Share that with people as well so they will be able to hang in their situations as well. And lastly, I want to challenge y'all to even read Hebrews 11 on faith. It's a powerful chapter that will really encourage you and inspire you and uplift you to hang in there in your situations. And I just want to pray out real quick, because I know I probably went way over. Way over. So I'm going to do a quick prayer. Dear Lord, just thank you for today. Just thank you for each and every person in here. Just help us to remember to hang in our situations. Help us to remember that we can trust you, Lord. Help us to remember that you're with us every step of the way. Help us to remember that it will be hard, it will be challenging. We will have stumbles along the way. We will have discouragement, we will have disbelief, Lord, but help us to be able to persevere. Help us to have that mustard seed faith just enough to get us through. Help us have that mustard seed faith in all of our situations, whether we have a sickness we're trying to get rid of, whether we're trying to start a business, whether we're trying to quit this habit. Help us have that mustard seed to get through, because guess what? Mustard seed faith is all we need to make the impossible possible in our lives. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Let's stand and worship together. Worship with me. Can't go back to the beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring. But I know here in the middle is the place where you promised to be. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? As I walk now through the valley, let your love rise above every fear. Like the sun shaping the shadow, in my weakness your glory appears. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Sing it out. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? Oh God, 'cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Will you meet me here, God? Meet me in this place. It's all about you, God. It's all every journey. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Sing it out. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Oh, God, meet us here again. Oh,
Usually during the benediction, I'll get up here and I'll recap the service and we dismiss you guys, but I would be remiss. I'm gonna do something just a little bit different right now. God is speaking to me and God is speaking to all of us, and I know you guys felt. I don't have to recap Ivan's sermon because it spoke for itself. It spoke for itself, but right now God is telling me that we have to recognize that even our leaders that stand here, stand there on the stage, or speak in front of you, we feel burdens as well, and sometimes the burdens are so hard on us that we don't have time to release it. And we need you to know that we need prayer as well. We go through things, we need prayer. And I just have to recognize right now that this young man right here, ever since I've been coming to this church, I've seen him grow. I see his passion, I see his commitment, I see his dedication. Everything that I've seen this man do has just been above reproach. And I think we need to reach our hands out to him and pray for him today, because most leaders will not be as transparent as he has been. Some of us, thank you, some of us stand here and we act like we got it all together, but we don't. Man, God is using you in a mighty way. In a mighty way. And I thank God for you. Just the relationship that I have with you. I thank God for you. And the kids that you come in contact with, man, we saw it on the screen. We see it every time you have the kids around you. They love you because of what you pour into them. So continue to allow God to pour into you and just do what God has ordained for you to do. And I appreciate you for that. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. You are dismissed. Oh, I'm sorry. Leaders, please come up and pray. I'm so sorry. I got caught up in the moment. If you're a leader and you want to come up front and pray, please come down for prayer if you need it.